children's children. Now is the time to make up my mind. What kind of world is this gonna be? What kind of world will be my legacy to the generations for all humankind? It's time to decide what kind of world. Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all the things a child so easily describes? Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it's all up to what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start giving back to this precious place? To every young face, tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? Will it be peaceful? Well, am I? Will it be joyful and kind? Will it be all the things a child so easily describes? Will everybody have enough? Will we speak in the language of love? Somehow I'm suspecting it's all up to what you and I decide. What kind of world do we want to have? When will we be ready to start giving back to this precious place? For every young phrase, tell every boy and girl, what kind of world? What kind of world? Whoa, do, 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 do.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to our Sunday celebration service. I'm Reverend G. Obviously, you know that you joined the live stream of the Unitarian Universalist Community Church in Portage. And I'm delighted that you chose to spend this time with us. Before I begin, allow me to thank all the people who contribute greatly into making this Sunday celebration service possible. One of them is Nick. Thank you for your music, always wonderful, always very fitting. Steve and Miriam in the background who are making sure that everything is running smoothly. Grateful for every single one of you. And so now we begin, as we always do, by lighting the chalice which is the symbol of our faith. Unitarian Universalists have chosen the chalice, the light, the fire. It symbolizes our commitment to searching for truth. And here is one more thing that I think is so important, and especially in today's days. We Unitarian Universalists have learned to focus on that which we have in common and not so much on that which separates us. And Isn't that what's needed most today? Is it not time that we come together and we focus on that which we have in common and celebrate our diversity and our differences, as opposed to judging them, making them wrong? So please, will you join me in lighting the chalice? In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. If you have a chalice at home, a candle, feel free to light it as well for the duration of this service. And now, I invite you to join me for a short meditation, for a moment to center, to bring ourselves into this moment, this here, this now, away from our surroundings, possibly quiet our mind, no judgment, only kindness, an opening of the heart. And as our hearts open, we all come together in sending a powerful energy of love, kindness, maximum inclusivity of all, regardless of color, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic status, regardless of any differences that may appear on the surface. It is this energy that we allow to flow from us to enfold our world. And for that possibility, together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes and return your attention to the screen. And welcome. In case you are joining us only now, I'm Reverend G. I'm delighted that you are choosing to spend this time with us. Today is a special service, as special as they come nowadays. It is, as Unitarian Universalists know it, is the Flower Communion. And it originated in the Czech Republic in 1923. And it was started by a Czech Unitarian minister. Back then, it was only Unitarian. The marriage between Unitarians and Universalists hadn't yet occurred at that point in time. And so this minister, I'm going to pronounce his name Čapek, came to the US to work on his PhD. And here he met his wife-to-be, who then convinced him to leave his Baptist background and join the Unitarians, which he did do. And as we now know, behind every great man, there's a great woman. So he joined the Unitarians, and then together they returned to the Czech Republic, and they established a Unitarian church in Prague. And he was trying to introduce some, you know how traditions and rituals are important to us. And when you just start a church and you don't have traditions and you don't have rituals, then you're trying to bring in some, establish some. And him having been Baptist, of course, or having been Baptist, he knew about the communion, the Lord's Supper, where congregations break the bread and drink wine. But that was not acceptable in his new Unitarian church, because he had a lot of former Catholics, and they didn't want to do anything with the breaking of bread and drinking of wine. So he went on searching in nature, where he, of course, saw all the flowers, and he thought, wow, how about that? How about we have a flower communion, where he would invite everyone to bring a flower to the service, and then place it in a vase as they come in, and then they would all bless these flowers together. And then at the end of the service, everyone would take a flower different than the one they brought with them as a gift, and then reminding themselves that this is a gift. It's somebody else touched this flower. Somebody else thought this flower means something to them, and I get to take it home and honor it. And to him, it symbolized beauty, the uniqueness of humans, diversity. And I think it's so fitting to have this flower community today, as there's upheaval across this nation and the world. The world has joined us in chanting that Black Lives Matter. And the month of June, which is LGBTQ plus month, this is when we also usually have pride parades and events, which this year are all canceled because we cannot come together. It's not safe for us to come together in large crowds. Nonetheless, of course, we are coming together in large numbers because we're marching. We're marching for our lives, and we're marching for the lives of the disenfranchised, marginalized people. It's that human uniqueness of us. And when we are tuned in to the lowest common denominator, we see human uniqueness as weakness, as something that has to be put out, changed, so we can feel comfortable about ourselves. So nothing challenges our worldview. And then when we tune into a higher consciousness, then we begin noticing human uniqueness and diversity as a gift, a possibility, as a contribution that we all make to one another. Dysfunctional families know much about difference, about making difference not okay. Healthy families celebrate difference, embrace it, support it, value it, encourage it, recognize it. James Baldwin said that not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Now, I am sure that by now Miriam has already put in the chat this quote. However, I'm going to read it to you one more time. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And this quote is from James Baldwin. It is time for a change. That is obvious to me, and it is obvious to thousands and thousands and thousands of people here in this country and around the world. We have a system of oppression that we have developed so well in this country that it has become natural to us. And that system of oppression has to be recognized, has to be faced before we can change it. And we have tried. We have tried many times. We have marched in the streets before, and we have come up with some responses. And one of them, in many years ago, I got into a heated conversation. Of all people, she was a Unitarian Universalist, and she said that I was new to this country, fairly new to this country at this time, and I don't know, I don't remember how the conversation turned to Blacks and African Americans, and she said that she sees no color and I should see no color, and that's the politically correct way to be. And to me, that seemed wrong at the time. And I recognized the intention behind it as being noble and good, and as a strategy being faulty and misguided. Because you cannot build a movement on denial. And fact is, I see color. I see all kinds of colors. I also see shapes. I see the shape of your eyes. I see shape of your body. I see how tall you are, how big. I see all of that. I cannot deny that. I also can spot gay people. I can't spot all of them, but I have a pretty good gaydar by now. I spot them, I see them. And the point is, so what? I see your color, and I love you, I respect you, and I treat you with maximum inclusivity. I can spot your sexual orientation, and I love you, I respect you, and I treat you with maximum inclusivity. I see your the part of the world that you come from. You may be Asian, you may be Native American, you may be European, whatever. I see it, I recognize it, I spot it, and I love you, I respect you with maximum inclusivity. Our first Unitarian Universalists don't have dogma. We have found that dogma separates people, and we believe that there's enough separation in this world. We need not add to it. However, we have recognized 7 principles by which we have found to be true. And these are living principles, living documents. So they're subject to change. As we change in consciousness, in understanding, we're willing to tweak these principles. The first principle states that we believe the inherent worth and dignity of every person, period. Doesn't matter what race you belong to, what color your skin is, your IQ level, your social economic status, your sexual orientation, your age, your gender. It doesn't matter. We recognize, we celebrate the inherent dignity and worth of every single person. And the second principle that we have found to be true is that we believe in justice and equity and compassion in human relations. Let me repeat that. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. In all of them, even the ones between the police and blacks, in all of them. And it is time that justice, equity, and compassion becomes a reality for the minorities, becomes a reality for the historically disenfranchised people in this country. African Americans, homosexuals, LGBTQ community, Native Americans, women, the disabled, and the list goes on. Justice, equity, and compassion for all human relations. A change must come. We have to change this system of oppression. It is flower communion. This is the time when we truly recognize and focus in on our diversity. We see it as a gift, definitely as a right. We celebrate it, we encourage it, we support it. Diversity. It is okay to be you. It is okay to be you just the way you are. You are worthy. You are beautiful just the way you are. And you ought to be allowed to be who you are in this world. But there are many who don't have that privilege. So today, we were not able to bring a flower to this service, nor are we able to take a flower at the end of the service, a flower that we did not bring, that someone else did. And we cannot take it with us and look at it and focus in on that flower, contemplating on why that flower was important to someone who brought it, what it represents, contemplating the otherness, the diversity. So today, I would like for all of us to say their names. I obviously couldn't put together a list that would contain all their names, but I will list a few that are better known to us today. But there are so many whose names, if we say, we don't know how it happened. What were they doing at the time when police accosted them and killed them? There is, by the way, somebody mowing their lawn at the Holy Church of the Living Room. Say their names. Contemplate on that. These are people whose lives were taken from them. That is not justice. Say their names. Jordan Davis, Walter Scott, Sandra Bland, Samuel DuBose, Philando Castillo, Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Botham Jean, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. Now, Reverend Sapek established the Flower Communion. It was well loved by his congregants. And then his wife traveled to the United States on a visit, and she introduced it here at Unitarian churches, and then it took off. She could not return, however, to the Czech Republic because the Second World War broke out. And Nazis occupied the Czech Republic. And they deemed Reverend Sapek's views of equality too dangerous. And they thought it is too dangerous for him to be alive, too dangerous to the Nazi principles. So they took him to Dachau, where he died a year later as a result of a medical experiment. This gentle, nice, very decent, principled human being died for his belief of equality, died for his stand for justice and equity and compassion for all. May we be able to live for these principles. May no one need to die again. May we live, and for that, today we march. That is the best way today to support the change and make it possible, the change that needs to happen in this country. So we are not just saying the words of equity, of worth and dignity of all humans, but we actually all get to live into it. All of us, regardless of gender, race, sexual orientation, age, disability, ability. This has got to become a lived principle and not just a spoken one. So may it be so. May it be so for all of us. And I'm grateful that I get to be part of this community who has always been willing to live or die for these principles, so others may have justice, equity, worth, compassion. And so it is. Today we march. Today we speak up. Today, that's what we are called for. Thank you.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
This is the time to live into our principles. This is the time that calls for our courage. This is the time that calls for our clear voice for justice, love, and equity for all. We are all equipped and ready for this moment. And so it is. I will now extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.